meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Calhoun,
Here.
Dempsey,
Here.
Fournier,
Here.
Pratt,
Here.
McGarity,
Here.
Rick,
Here.
York.
Here.
Okay, announcements, acknowledgements, communications, and reports. I don't see any on the agenda. Does anybody else have anything? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on to adoption of the agenda.
Move to adopt the agenda as presented.
Support.
Okay, does anybody have any questions or comments about the agenda? Okay, then we will go ahead and call the roll, please.
Dempsey,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Pratt,
Yes.
McGarity,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Calhoun.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move to public participation. This is the section of the meeting that we allow the public to address the commission. All that we ask is that you come to the microphone, give us your full name, your residential address, and you address your questions to the chair. We'll first hear those in person, and then we will go to anybody on Zoom. Is there anyone who would like to address the commission at this time?
Hi, Alan Hobbs, 10 Deal Drive, Mount Clemens, Michigan. Okay, so first I would like to say the answers to a lot of the questions that were asked at the last meeting, the answers seemed to come off, the responses seemed to come off as if they were answered in their defense or felt like it was an attack posed when the questions were asked. We are not trying to attack you, but as the citizens, we would like to understand and get truthful, clear answers to the questions that we answered. So I'll go again. I asked how many dispensaries will be allowed in Mount Clemens. The answer provided was very generic, and I felt the answer to the question was I felt it was failed to answer the question directly. So I will reword the question in hopes of getting a clear answer. What is the maximum number allowed of dispensaries that we will have in the Mount Clemens city limits? What is the maximum number that will be allowed? Number two, I feel the answer about the bloomery cannabis at the intersection of North Walnut and Gratiot was a very short but disrespectful answer. As to, it is on the corner of a main street that goes through an entire city and leading into another city at the back of Mount Clemens. So the answer is not sufficient and does not answer the question that was posed as to why it was put on a corner of a black neighborhood. Are we going to put any over on the corner of Gratiot and Harrington in the Seminole Hills neighborhood? If so, there would not be a discretion. My understanding is that there will be a total of 7, yet we do not have a grocery store in the city limits of Mount Clemens. Are there any plans to get us a grocery store in the city limits of Mount Clemens? Also, the question was asked if we could have a meeting where we are provided the answers verbally. That meeting may help us understand the questions better and not hear a tone or suggested tone in the writings. When you write something, it can come off in a disrespectful tone that maybe isn't there, but because there's so much passion behind the questions that's being answered and we're not getting the answers, we feel disrespected or slighted when we get those written answers that are not clear. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jimmy Dixon. I live at 94 Park, Mount Clemens, Michigan. Question I'm asking, the guy from city, I think, was out a few days ago and marked the sidewalk, concrete. I have 9 slabs of concrete have to be replaced at $160 a slab. I'm asking, I need help with that because I live on the corner. I'm paying double taxes, and I need help with this. Being a senior, I need help. And another thing, on Jones and Euclid, see, if I don't pay mine, to get that fixed, I'm gonna have to, you know, you're gonna give me, a ticket. And the thing with that, Jones and Euclid, the streets have been messed up for over 50 or 60 years, and there's haven't been any replacements. So I'm asking, what are the city gonna do about this? Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in person who would like to address the commission?
Ruthie Stevenson, 69 Bain Street. They had Main Street in the minutes. It's Bain, B-E-Y-N-E. What I'd like to say is, at the end of the last meeting, I had asked for a meeting. I understand the answers that you gave and that were pretty much typed out or written out. We need to have an in-person meeting where people can sit and talk. From 10 to 1, 2 days a week at Carnes Center is not sufficient. And I would like to see a city-wide meeting concerning a recreation center in Mount Clemens. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not as little as Ellen, I can't get through there.
Jean Dixon, 114 Needle Street, Mount Clemens. I just want to give a kind of a different than what I normally do. I do appreciate the Clementine. I enjoy the library and the city things coming together, all in one booklet. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I didn't say that last time.
Carl Hayes, 112nd Street. Thank you for answering the questions, regardless of how we feel about them. Thank you for answering the questions. Since you brought up concrete, I'm not on the corner, but I got like 8 slabs in front of my house. It's cool, don't have a problem with it, except for one of them. And I even asked the guy, and I don't feel like it falls into the criteria, so I would just like for somebody to come, just the one of all of them, because there's a hairline crack in it, and he said it's gotta be a ½ inch somewhere. So let's get the tape out. Because it's in their benefit to market, and it's cool, but if it's not, I'm already replacing, I think, 7 or 8 of them, which I'm good with. And I'll replace this one. I just want somebody to show me what's wrong with it, because it doesn't look like the other ones. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in person who would like to address the commission?
I just wanted to take a second to thank Carlton, the
Oh,
building.
wait. You gotta
Sorry.
give me your.
Fred Hubner,
And address.
158 South
Okay.
Main Street, Macomb Foster Closet.
Thank you.
I just wanted to pass on a thank you to the professionalism and helpfulness of Carlton, the building inspector who has been working with us, and Josh, the fire inspector, who's been working with us. As someone who owns rental properties in Warren, Warren is the most difficult municipality on God's green earth to deal with in the building department. They discourage anybody from making investments in the city. You have nonprofits that won't even do business if it involves having to work with the building department in Warren. They choose to just put their services in other cities. And it's really refreshing to deal with people who are trying to be helpful and help you understand and have clarity of purpose and assist you and are supportive and have a good attitude and are just friendly. So thank you to those folks. We've enjoyed working with them and can continue until we get an occupancy permit. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in person who would like to address the commission? Okay, seeing none. Anybody on Zoom? No? Okay, thanks, Darren. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to administrative responses to issues or questions raised during the previous meetings. Mr. Shipman.
All right, at the last city commission meeting, several residents had questions. The following are responses to those questions. Most of these early ones refer to the Carnes Community Center. First question is, can I lease space in the building as for-profit entity? The answer is yes, if your intended use complies with the rules of the Recreation Department. Will the center be open only during programming? Beginning Tuesday, March 26th, the center will be open 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, from 10 to 1 p.m. for questions, concerns, sign-up, and community input. Will there be regular hours for the center to be open? Again, yes, beginning March 26th, 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for questions, concerns, sign-up, and community input. Will there be a committee regarding operation of the community center to help with brainstorming ideas, to be a volunteer, or to be a public watch group? So the Parks and Recreation Board is being brought back for this purpose. These meetings are open to the public and will receive public input. We currently have 2 openings on the Park and Recreation Board. Will there be more programs at Carnes and different types of programs at Carnes? Yes. Carnes is open for instructors or programs that will benefit the community. If you have an idea for a program and know someone who would like to be an instructor, please contact the Recreation Coordinator at 586-469-6800, extension 520. What is the process to start a program at Carnes? Contact the Recreation Coordinator Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. by phone at 586-469-6800, extension 520, or by mail at lsullivanbeeler@mountclemens.gov. Or you may stop in during normal business hours. There are also guidelines listed on our website at www.mountclemensrecreation.org. What kinds of programs can happen at Carnes? Will it be open for events such as birthdays, repasses, etc.? Most events can happen at Carnes with the exception of the following: political meetings, bridal or baby showers, memorial services, funeral, wakes, or repasses, any religious meetings, groups to store and leave their equipment. Also, the following is prohibited: lewd activities, facility entrance fees cannot be charged, sale of goods, on-site fundraising or gambling, excessive loud music or noise, glass, liquor, and dogs are not allowed in the facility or on the grounds, lawn parking is not allowed, park in designated areas only, off-road vehicles are not allowed to be operated on the property. Do you have to have an organization to have a program at Carnes? No, you do not. Will the Carnes Community Center become a polling site? No. There will be a ballot box installed where voters may drop off their ballots. There are also 9 days of early voting available, absentee ballots with free return postage, and dial-a-ride to transport voters to a polling site if transportation on early voting or day of voting is needed. Will the community center offer resource fairs? Yes, if we can find enough participating resource organizations. Is the city actively looking for grants or other funding solutions to add resources to the community center? Yes. Since the city took Carnes back 2 years ago, we have invested approximately $411,000 between capital projects, repairs, and utility bills. We have also invested approximately $45,000 in programming. We have applied for 4 grants and have received 3 of them, totaling approximately $500,000. The city will continue to look for grant funding for Carnes. Does the city have a rental policy for Carnes, and if so, where is it posted? The policy for renting any indoor facility, including Carnes, is listed on the indoor facility rental application, which can be located on the recreation website, mountclemensrecreation.org, under the Forms tab. Does the city have rental policies for other city-controlled property? Yes, they are all the same as for the Carnes Community Center. Where are these rental policies posted? The policy for renting any indoor facility is listed on the indoor facility rental application, which can be located on the recreation website, mountclemensrecreation.org, under the Forms tab. The city is in the process of updating its website to make it more user-friendly for PCs and mobile devices. How is the city going to implement Carnes into the recreation program? Carnes has been implemented into the program in the same way as the Mount Clemens Recreation Center and Wilson Gym. When are we going to repair Clinton River Drive across from the post office? The city is well aware of the conditions on Clinton River Drive, as well as the many other roads in Mount Clemens that are in equal or worse condition. We are developing a plan to address all the roads in a manner that coincides with the amount of funding available for these repairs. How many dispensaries are we going to allow in Mount Clemens? City Commission approved a marijuana ordinance in 2023, which sets parameters as to where marijuana facilities may be located. At this time, we have 3 facilities that have received a license from the state of Michigan and are open for business. Why was there a dispensary allowed to be put at the beginning of a black neighborhood that already has a drug rehab unit and that our children have to walk by to go to school? The dispensary in question is on Gratiot Avenue, which is a major street and does not run through a neighborhood. A woman was trying to get a preschool program at Carnes. She said she was not able to establish any communication on how to do so. She wanted to know what she had to do to be more active at Carnes. Mayor Kropp had asked her to leave contact information before she left the building with the intent to get her in touch with the recreation coordinator. The person did not leave any contact information that I know of. We did have somebody reach out and get a contact number for her, and I had the recreation coordinator reach out to her. What is the policy on hours at Carnes? Carnes is open anytime there is a recreation activity scheduled to take place. Also beginning March 26th, 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for questions, concerns, sign-up, and community input. What is the policy on hours for all city recreation buildings? The recreation office is open from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. Carnes will be open beginning March 26th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. 3 facilities are open during hours that a recreational activity is taking place. Will funds be allowed for senior and youth programs? Funds have been applied for and received for senior programming. Breaking Barriers to Play is a youth program that is funded through June 30th, 2024. Would you like a dispensary on the corner of your neighborhood? And this was answered, it was directed at Mayor Kropp, and this is how she answered it. I understand the misconception, but a proposed dispensary is permitted to be built immediately next door to my business. That is a facility I care about deeply, and it certainly isn't what I prefer to be my neighbor. That being said, I would not like a bar immediately next to my business either. When elected officials make decisions, we have to leave what we personally feel aside. Instead, we have to look at the issues on what's best for the city as a whole and what is legal by state and federal laws as well. When can the community expect an action plan from this commission detailing what it can make Carnes Community Center a valuable asset to the community? Carnes has been made an asset to the community through its Parks and Recreation program. Programming has not stopped at any time since the city took control of the property 2 years ago. We continue to look for ways to bring more programming and resources to Carnes with community partnerships and grant funding. We will continue to include our recreation program in our strategic plan in order to plan for future opportunities at all of our recreation facilities. Who will direct this effort? The Recreation Coordinator and the Parks and Recreation Committee. What will the budget look like? Carnes is included in the city's overall Parks and Recreation budget, just like the other facilities the city operates. What will the commission establish a community, or will the commission establish a community center committee to report to the commission? This was answered before and will be undertaken by the Parks and Recreation Committee. What is the reason for the termination of the lease at Carnes? There were 2 lease terminations at Carnes. The first was with the school at their request due to the fact they were never able to afford to provide programming for the facility as it was originally intended. The second lease termination was with TCB Youth Mentoring at their request due to the fact they were not able to acquire enough funding to sustain programming. What is going to be done with the property? How will it be used? It is part of recreation. the same as our other 2 recreation facilities. Will the city maintain ownership of the property? The city plans to retain ownership of the property. Will the community that surrounds the property be involved in final decision of what happens to the property? If at some point the city wanted to change the use of the property or sell the property, community input would be solicited. Is it possible to have a community meeting at the Carnes Center to discuss opinions and processes? Yes, that is possible. But the plan is to have a person at the center on Tuesdays and Thursdays beginning on March 26th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for questions, concerns, sign-up, and community input. Lastly, can you levy a tax on marijuana businesses to help pay for things in the community? We cannot levy a tax on marijuana businesses.
Does the commission have any questions or comments for Mr. Shipman on the answers to those questions? Mr. Calhoun?
Thank you for putting together the answers to all these. There's a lot of questions. I agree that a couple of the answers weren't super detailed, and I understand that there's a lot of other work that goes on in your office, and so I understand that. I think I'm excited to see, hopefully, us having a meeting about Carnes, since the bulk of this was about that, so we can discuss and give folks more answers than the text could do. But I really appreciate you putting together these answers for us.
And again, I mean, just so everybody knows, when you put these together, you have to put a lot of thought into them because they can come off the wrong way. It's not easy. And generally, they're short, and you try to keep it to the point as much as possible because it leads to too much conjecture and personal opinion. So it's not quite as easy as it sounds or looks, but we do our best. So.
Is there any other questions? Okay, we will move on to approval of minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the minutes as presented.
Support.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, call the roll, please.
Fournier,
Yes.
Crap,
Yes.
McGarity,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Calhoun,
Yes.
Dempsey,
Yes.
Okay, we'll move to general business 9A, adoption of bond ordinance. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the bond ordinance for issuance of Series 2024 bonds as presented.
Support. Mr. Shipman.
On April 15, 2023, the City of Mount Clemens formally adopted wastewater improvement projects to be funded through the Clean Water State Revolving Fund in the form of a low-interest loan. The loan is paid through bonds, which must be approved by the Michigan Finance Authority, the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, as well as meet the requirements of the Revenue Bond Act, Act 94 of 1933. In order to issue bonds, the city must adopt a bond ordinance. The bond ordinance authorizes the issuance of Junior Lien Revenue Bond Series 2024 in the amount not to exceed $8 million. The bond may be used for the acquisition, construction, furnishing, and equipping of improvements to the sewage disposal system of the city. The Series 2024 bond is payable from the net revenues of the city's sewage disposal system and is expected to be sold to the MFA, payable in 30 annual principal installments at an interest rate of 2%. The closing for the Series 2024 bond will be May 6th, and the city can begin requesting draws on the Series 2024 bond after that date. To add to that, if you remember when we originally went out for the CWSRF, it was in the amount of $6.22 million. At that time, we were led to believe that we could not include the engineering costs as part of that project because they didn't go out to bid. And so we didn't include that in the application. Unfortunately, after we applied, it was clarified that they could have been used. And so what we did is I actually turned in a request letter for additional funds to cover that. And they verbally agreed to fund us up to $7.6 million. So we should be covered under that. With us tonight is Jeff Arnoff from Bond Counsel. I can answer any questions that anybody might have concerning this, and I think he's going to give us just a little run through of the bond process this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Shipman. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good to see you all. Jeff Aronoff from Miller Canfield. I'm with my colleague Emily Barr tonight. Won't get into too much detail because I don't want anyone falling asleep in the middle of their commission meeting, but you have this rather large bond ordinance, and I just want you to be aware of what it is you're adopting. I know you generally are, but there's a lot of detail in there. You may recall a couple of months ago you adopted a notice of intent resolution, at which time you may recall the basic idea there was we're not authorizing any bonds, we're simply authorizing the publication of a notice, which is the beginning of the process. We always build in a little bit of, or more than a little bit of cushion in case there's something unexpected, and what we have here was, as Mr. Shipman indicated, costs that were higher than expected at the time that the notice of intent was published, but we had sufficient cushion in the notice of intent to account for these things. So the next time you're doing a bond issue and you're wondering, why do we have all this extra cushion? These are the kinds of reasons. Usually don't use it, but you know, save it for a rainy day, and sometimes it's raining. So there you have it. So these are revenue bonds. They are secured only by revenues of the sewer system. That is to say, the bondholder, the purchaser, the lender, all meaning the same thing. And in this case, the lender is the state of Michigan, the Michigan Finance Authority, is secured just by the revenues of the system. That doesn't mean the system itself. If if funds were insufficient, they can't start pulling out pump stations and so forth. The only thing that they, as bondholders, lender, can do is force you to charge rates sufficient to cover debt service, and your finance team, both internally and your financial advisor, Benzinski and Company, have done an extensive review of the rates and are, there's a sufficient rate structure in place. One thing that you may notice, these are referenced as what we call junior lien bonds. What does that mean? Imagine like sort of taking out a second mortgage, right? That sits behind the first mortgage. The first mortgage is like better credit, they get paid first. Well, the nice thing about issuing bonds through this MFA program where the state is the lender is that you can sort of issue as your second mortgage before you even have a first mortgage. That means if you ever need to issue sewer bonds to Wall Street, that is not the state, but the commercial markets, they're going to want a higher priority. Or if they were lower priority, it would cost you more. Well, you want to save that upper level senior capacity for the capital markets if you ever need that. And the state revolving fund program, in addition to having really low rates, is really user friendly. And the fact that you're allowed to do junior lien bonds at such a low rate, leaving that capacity, if you ever need it, to issue bonds on a senior basis for Wall Street, let's say, to invest in Mount Clemens, that's a nice feature of the program. I think with that, I'll stop and take any questions that you might have.
Okay, who has questions? Thank you for that explanation. It was much easier than the...
I could read it word for word.
No, that's okay.
Where were you last week? When we read this.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Mr. Aronoff or Mr. Shipman? All right. Call the roll, please. Thank you.
Crap.
Yes.
McGarity.
Yes.
Rick.
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Calhoun.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Fournier.
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes. 9B, approval of resolution supporting submission of grant application to replace Crocker Boulevard Bridge.
I move to adopt the resolution supporting application submission to the Michigan Department of Transportation Local Bridge Program for the Crocker Boulevard Bridge replacement.
Support.
It was impressive. You didn't even breathe in that one. Mr. Shipman.
City staff is seeking approval to submit an application for grant funds in the amount of $9,337 to the Michigan Department of Transportation Local Bridge Program. The purpose of the grant is to obtain funding for the replacement of the deteriorating Crocker Boulevard Bridge. The program requires that the City Commission adopt a resolution supporting this grant as part of the application process. And I do just want to add what I had to tell my aunt earlier is, yes, the bridge is still safe to drive on, because she was worried when she read this, so She called me.
And we can walk on it too.
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions or comments? Yes.
How many times have we applied for this particular grant?
Yeah.
this is 16.
16? Oh, maybe 16 will be a lucky number.
Sweet 16.
Jeff, we called AEW earlier, but I had a question about if you really get into the nuts and bolts of this, when they take each area of the bridge and they evaluate the, like, let's say railings, right, on the deck. And we've received a 7, a 7, a 7 for 421, 422, 423, right? But it looks like each year they keep adding like more and more comments of specific things that are failing, but it doesn't lower the score at this point. And so, have you ever seen the metrics that they use so that, like, how long does it take? I mean, do they have to have like 30 comments before we get to 6? You know, like, I don't know. I just, where is, because I mean, some of these are listing a whole ton of stuff and they haven't changed. So I just wondered if you have seen it.
I have seen it. I'm not sure what it takes to actually lower it. We did go through an audit with the Federal Highway Administration for this bridge, but, you know, to make sure that everything was 100% accurate. So.
Okay. And it also seemed to me, when I was looking at the scores, you know, there are some definitely evaluations that get us to like 3s and, I mean, that are significantly low. But then there were several that were in the 7s. So it just, I'm like, is it an average of this? Like, there's a scour evaluation, a structure conditions. I mean, I'm certainly no engineer. So, so I just didn't know, again, it just was a little bit confusing to me. I mean, it looks bad, so I just.
What's actually the worst part about the bridge, why it needs a total reconstruct, is the pilings themselves are not sitting on piers under the water. So.
Oh.
So
Okay.
that's one of the.
I didn't see that in the report.
That's underwater inspection.
That's why it needs a full replacement.
Okay.
Because of that.
Okay. Okay. Wow, that's interesting.
Do they dive in to look? I was wondering.
Yeah,
It said
I don't know.
underwater inspection. Camera
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, well, anybody else have any questions or comments? No?
Hope we get it.
Yeah, keep our fingers crossed on this one.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah. Oh, when do they announce it? Sorry.
It varies, I don't know exactly.
Okay.
It could be October, which is when their budget cycle next year.
I see, okay. So we don't start losing sleep over it or anything at this point? Okay. Excellent. Okay, anybody else?
So we haven't had, if we apply like 16 times, we haven't had construction on this bridge then?
No, because it would cost,
Yeah, it's over $9 million.
right. So we have not received, and over 16 years, our score has gone down, right? The rating of it has gone down in terms of, so what Jeff has said in the past is that you have to get to a certain, there's so many bridges that are failing in Michigan that you have to get to a certain level of like failure. Yeah, before they'll start before they get to you as a priority. So we're hopeful that, yeah.
There's only so much money allocated to this program, right? And this also covers like the bridges, overpasses that go over the expressway. They're eligible to apply for this grant as well. So it's not just bridges over waterways. So.
This didn't include, the Gordie Howe Bridge didn't come out of this one, did it?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm like, that's a little, that would have been a strain on that.
Well, just, you may see that we start holding back some money in the street fund because that does have a 20% match. So we're going to get it.
Why do you look at me?
Sooner, I'm looking at you, yes, you know what I'm looking at. So we want to start preparing for that match now, rather than having to come up with a couple of $1 million at the last minute, right? So-
Sure.
But won't know that. That'll be in next year's budget then?
Yes. Last
Yeah.
year,
Right. So this year's is still-
replacement cost when we did that estimate was just a little over 7 million. We're at 9 million this year. Our match without engineering is over $2 million. So,
Without engineering.
without engineering.
And I'm guessing bridge engineering is not cheap.
So there would be design and construction engineering probably to the tune of.
And you can't roll those costs in?
No.
Of course. Wonderful. Okay. All right. Anybody else, questions or comments? All right, call the roll, please.
McGarity,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Yor,
Yes.
Calhoun,
Yes.
Dempsey,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Crap.
Yes. Okay, 9C, resolution approving a social district permit for your mothers. For the record, it's not actually my mother. Thought that would be a funny joke, come on.
I move to approve the attached resolution approving the application of Your Mother's Food and Spirits for a local social district permit, and to recommend approval to the Michigan Liquor Control Commission.
Support.
Mr. Shipman?
Eligible establishments for the social district are required to have approval via resolution from the local municipality prior to applying for a social district permit from the Michigan Liquor Control Commission. A certificate of liability insurance is required as a condition of approval.
Anybody have any questions or comments about the social district permit? Okay, call the roll, please.
Rick,
Yes.
Yor,
Yes.
Calhoun,
Yes.
Dempsey,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Crap,
Yes.
McGarity.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move to 9D, approval of special event permit, Macomb County Pride Summer Sachet.
Move to approve the request from Macomb County Pride to hold the 4th Annual Summer Sachet on Saturday, August 17th, 2024, with the timing of street closures subject to approval by the Department of Public Services.
Support.
Mr. Shipman?
Macomb County Pride is seeking approval to hold its 4th annual Summer Sachet on Saturday, August 17, 2024, to provide a safe and fun space for the LGBTQIA+ community and allies. The free event would run from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. on North Main Street between Macomb Place and Market Street. The use of electronic connections is being requested for food trucks and vendors, as well as assistance with refuse disposal. Fire lanes will need to be maintained on all city streets. The event organizer will be responsible for the cost of all city services and must coordinate the closure of North Main Street with the Department of Public Services. The event would take place outside of the formal scope of the downtown revitalization project, but may need to adjust event details accordingly.
There was a question about where this was on the agenda. We do move special event permits that are regular events that happen year after year, which normally the Pride event would be considered that because it's been year after year. But because they had to move locations and it changed some, we wanted to give the opportunity, and that's why it didn't go on consent. It went on the regular agenda. So that was the reasoning behind that. I just wanted to make sure that that was clear for everybody. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Yep.
If you look at their application, they're expecting 5,000 people to attend or participate. That's a lot of people who are going to be downtown, shopping at our businesses, eating at our restaurants, and enjoying themselves. And so that's a fantastic event, and I'd like to thank the organizers for putting it on.
I'm glad they chose to stay in Mount Clemens despite the construction this year. So thanks to the Pride event for pardoning our dust and moving the event to Main Street. Is there anybody else who have questions or comments? All right, call the roll, please.
Yor,
Yes.
Calhoun,
Yes.
Dempsey,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Crap,
Yes.
McGarity,
No.
Rick,
Yes.
Okay, well, we will move on to consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Oh.
I'm sorry. It's committee appointments.
There's a resounding support. Call the roll, please.
Calhoun.
Yes.
Dempsey.
Yes.
Fournier.
Yes.
Crap.
Yes.
McGarity.
Yes.
Rick.
Yes.
Yor.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move to city manager's report. Mr. Shipman.
The demolition of 213 Court Street is currently out for bid. The city purchased this property from the county during last year's tax foreclosure proceedings. The Carnes Community Center Play Structure Project is also out for bid. This project is being funded with Community Development Block Grant funds. The compost program is scheduled to begin the week of March 25th, 2024, on your regularly scheduled refuse pickup day.
Yes.
Please do not place refuse containers or brown paper leaf bags out at the curb until the week of March 25th. As the construction season approaches, please watch for updates on the city website, www.mountclemens.gov, and our social media outlets. The city is planning to do construction projects throughout the city beginning this spring. The city recreation webpage is currently being revamped to make it easier for users to navigate. In the meantime, please refer to the website, mountclemensrecreation.org, for an updated list of programs available this spring. The downtown revitalization project went out to bid last week. Construction is expected to begin this summer. There will be an ongoing social media post about the project coming soon and will continue throughout the project. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for this and other important information. Mount Clemens' first annual citywide cleanup will be Saturday, May 4th, 2024, with a rain date of Saturday, May 18th, 2024. The event will be from 10 a.m. till noon, followed by lunch. The meetup location will be the Roscott parking lot near the Anton Arts Center. Volunteers will move out to all areas of the city from there to pick up trash on major thoroughfares. Volunteers should bring water to drink, work gloves, rakes, trash grabber tools, and sunscreen. Additional supplies will be provided. For more information, contact Linda Curatalo from the Mount Clemens Beautification Committee at curatalo@comcast.net.
Okay, does anybody have any questions or comments for Mr. Shipman on the city manager's report? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to public participation. So this is the second opportunity that the public has the opportunity to address the commission. All that we ask is that you come to the microphone, you give us your full name, your residential address, and you direct your questions to the chair, and that you abide by our 2-minute rule. If you will go with those in person and then to Zoom. Anybody like to address the commission at this time?
Carl Hay, 21 2nd Street. Last week I read at my daughter's school. It is the month of reading. This week I volunteered to read over at Seminole, where I have no kids. So I want to challenge everybody everybody on the commission, everybody watching at home, everybody here, sign up and go read to these beautiful children. It makes a difference, especially men. It makes a difference if men are in there reading to these boys. So if you have a moment, please go read to our kids. Whether or not your children go there, it's important. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody on Zoom? Okay. We will move on to commissioner comments, and we will start with Commissioner Yor.
Thank you. Again, I want to thank all of you who came out tonight. It's so great to see people in the audience. We love to hear your comments. I appreciate those. I am personally in support of an in-person meeting so we can talk more about the Recreation Center at Carnes. I think that would give us a much better opportunity to hear each other than the written questions back and forth. So I look forward to that. I was privileged to attend the CapCon conference last week, which was Michigan municipalities. So much to learn, but it was great meeting other people in similar roles in cities near us and far from us. And it was a great opportunity for us to learn more about the work of the city. And I hope everyone enjoyed St. Patrick's Day. I think Mount Clemens is the place to be. There was lots to do and lots of people enjoying it. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner McGarity.
I truly agree. I truly agree. Our town was busy the whole weekend. It just looked good seeing everybody out with good weather. Just a few resources, and then I'll leave them here. Show Me the Money Day is coming back from Macomb County, but especially our Mount Clemens residents, and so it's open to anyone. It's a financial and community resource fair. Community members are invited to participate in this free in-person Show Me the Money Day event. It promotes access to free financial resources, affordable financial products, services, and financial education classes, as well as giveaways, and other vendors will be there, workshops. It has always been very, very beneficial, and so I'll leave those flyers here for pickup, as well as applications for Macomb County Housing Rehabilitation Program has opened up. It was closed for a while, as I mentioned. So I did bring your basic information of what you need to do in order to receive that housing information. The wait list is currently open, and there is a phone number for it. Very basic qualifications. You must be the homeowner, of course, but you had to be there at least 1 year. You live in one of the 21 communities that it funded, and Mount Clemens is one. You have current homeowners insurance. You cannot be delinquent in your property tax payments, current on all your mortgage payments, not be in foreclosure or bankruptcy. So if this fits you or someone that you know that needs some minor home repair, there's two different funding. One is a large amount, one is a smaller amount. They spend every penny in getting your house fixed. You want to get this information to help and continue to beautify our city that we live in. And that's it for me today.
Thank you. Commissioner Fournier.
Thank you, Commissioner McGarity. That is very good information to have, because there are a lot of homeowners that struggle with some of the improvements that they have to make. And speaking of improvements, I think every time I think we're getting ahead of this curveball, we've got the downtown going on, the water department, the sewer department. We're going to get a couple roads patched up here this year, and then we find out about the Crocker Bridge. So it's a daunting challenge, folks. It really, really is, to keep everything upgraded, and there's been lean years where you can't do anything, and it's a struggle. So bear with. But we are making progress. I think that's the message we want to send. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Rick.
Thank you. First, please keep bringing us your concerns. We want the city to do better. Your feedback is how we can gauge whether that's really happening. With that being said, as Mayor Pro Tem alluded to, the ship of state turns slowly. We're working on it. Keep holding us accountable, but some of this stuff, it just takes time to change. But keep letting us know. The Michigan Municipal League convention was awesome. Really glad to get the chance to learn and talk with other leaders, but also to get our city issues in front of state legislators so they can send us more money. Because clearly we need it. Big thanks to the 41B District Court. They invited me to the commencement ceremony for the veterans who've completed their intervention program, and I'd like to congratulate the graduates from that program, as well as a big thanks to the staff and mentors of that program in the court that make it a possibility. As a reminder, 26 May at 11 o'clock at Clinton Grove Cemetery is the Memorial Day ceremony for several veterans organizations in the area. I'd like to thank Stephen for stepping up for the Beautification Committee, David for joining the Downtown Development Authority, and Marilyn for joining the Traffic Safety Committee. We have extra openings available on many boards and committees. More information is available on our website, mountclemens.gov/boards, or call the city at 586-469-6800. Please help us out. Many hands make lighter work. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Calhoun.
I wanted to start by just mentioning some of the work that the City Commission has been doing lately. We've been having special meetings to make sure that we're taking care of things related to the water plant. We just had a strategic plan session where we worked with the department leaders and as a team to update our strategic plan and look at ways to improve our community. The Michigan Municipal League Conference, there were a number of commissioners there who took the time to meet people from other cities, who went to meet with our legislators and really advocate for our needs, as was mentioned before. And so I just want to highlight some of that work and say that I appreciate everyone here. I also want to similarly say that we appreciate the community coming to our meetings. It's nice to see the audience full. And please continue to tell us what's important to you, and we'll do what we can to move it up on the list depending on the outside circumstances that we have, but we really want to listen, and this is our community too. We want to keep it beautiful and continue to make improvements. I was looking at the Macomb County Sheriff Transparency Dashboard. They, instead of sending us reports periodically, they've recommended that we take a look at this. And even as a tech-savvy person, I had some challenges navigating it, but I finally figured it out. This is a very interesting way to take a look at crime reporting, citations, and arrests, and to kind of get a feel for the work that the Sheriff's Office is doing. I think, one, we appreciate the work they're doing. I think that in the strategic plan, we are asking them to come and hopefully provide a report to us. But in the meantime, as we wait for that year to year, this is a very nice tool to look and see what's going on in the community and to follow up on that. So those are my comments. Everyone please drive safe this evening, and it was great seeing you all.
Wow.
Thank you. Commissioner Dempsey.
Ditto everything that everybody says. I just want to thank Jeff for sticking with the Crocker Bridge grant, 16 years.
Wow.
One of these years we shall hopefully get it. Although we have been taking care of the bridge. I mean, we do patch, we have been doing as much as we can, so it is safe from that standpoint, but we do need a replacement, and he's been doing this for a long time, trying to get this grant money for us, so keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you. I will have a coffee talk the second Tuesday and the second Thursday of April, which would be the 9th, I believe, of Tuesday the 9th at 9:30 a.m. at John's Family Grill, and Thursday the 11th at Black Cat Coffee at 6:30 p.m. I too was able to attend CapCon and wanted to thank State Representative Denise Menser. She spent so much time with us. She had breakfast with us, and then she took us for a tour of her offices and the Capitol, and she just took a lot of time with us and talked about what she's working on at the state level, and much of it has to do with Mount Clemens. And so I would just want to thank her for her representation and for really trying to bring home as many resources as possible to Mount Clemens. I also want to thank Senator Hertel, who carved out a good hour for us, and he too has been a huge advocate for Mount Clemens and was able to bring home, was able to help secure that $5 million allocation last year for the Victorian development. So we're very grateful to him as well and appreciate his time at that conference. I too felt like we learned a lot. We were able to network with so many people, and I find that those opportunities to network with our neighbors in neighboring communities, you learn so much and don't have to reinvent the wheel, so you get a lot of great ideas and some contacts for resources to bounce ideas off of, which is really helpful. So I really appreciate, actually, all of our newer commissioners were with us, and that was, for the past few years, I've gone by myself. So I really appreciate the company and not going by myself. That was really great. So I wanted to also mention, I have had the opportunity to read to 12 different classrooms since March 1st. And you're right, Carl. It is truly, I mean, I was a former teacher, so I really enjoy being back in the classroom, but it is a really great experience to sit with the kids and hear their questions and stories. And I got to learn that a lot of kids still like chicken nuggets at McDonald's. So anyway, it was really fun. And I still have a little bit of time left before the month is over. And I'm happy to read in April if there are any classrooms who still need some visitors. Please just reach out to the City Hall and we'll get somebody, one of us, out to the classroom. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good night, everyone. Have a good one.